Hey everyone, my name is Porter Todd, and welcome to Alabama, the heart of Dixie. When I started working on Alabama, I wanted to capture a state that has many different layers. A lot of people think of Alabama and immediately think of the South, but I wanted these pages to show that Alabama is a mix of history, science, faith, sports, music, food, nature, and traditions. One thing I try to do with every state is avoid reducing it to one stereotype. A state is made up of millions of people, generations of stories, and countless little details. So for Alabama, I wanted the viewer to feel like they were traveling through a state, discovering everything piece by piece. The first page introduces Alabama with a large map of the state. I like making maps the centerpiece because geography is one of the factors that helps shape culture. One of the first things you'll notice is the Saturn V rocket blasting off near Huntsville. Huntsville is known as Rocket City, and it's played a huge role in the American space program. I wanted the rocket to look dramatic, like it's actually lifting off the page, because the moon landing is one of humanity's biggest achievements, and Alabama has a connection to that moment. Then, towards the center, I included Montgomery and the state capital. Montgomery is incredibly important historically, from Alabama's early history and the civil rights movement. I also included Birmingham and Mobile because I wanted to show the state's major cities, not just the capital. For nature, I drew the yellowhammer, Alabama's state bird, sitting on a branch. State birds are always interesting because there are small details that represent the identity of a place. The yellowhammer has a cheerful, bright appearance, so I wanted to add life and color. The camellia flower represents Alabama's as the state flower. I wanted it to have a softer, more elegant feeling because flowers shows a different side of a state compared to things like cities or sports. On the left, I drew a football player because you can't really talk about Alabama culture without college football. The Alabama Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers rivalry is one of the most intense in sports. Football there isn't just an entertainment, it's something families grow up and it's something that's passed down through generations. At the bottom, I included a Bible Belt representation with a pastor and a gospel choir. Faith and gospel music have always been a major influence on Alabama culture, and I wanted to represent that tradition visually. From left to right, the characters are Eve, Clementine, Martha, and Pastor Scott. Uh, this page focuses on everyday Alabama. In a corner, I drew a banana and mayonnaise sandwich. Some people might look at that and think, wait, what? But that's exactly why I included it. Every region has foods that outsiders don't always understand, but these foods are connected to childhood memories, family, and tradition. I tried a banana mayo sandwich, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It's actually pretty good, but don't knock it unless you tried it yourself. I also included a cotton tuff because agriculture shaped so much of Alabama's history. Cotton has a complicated legacy, but it's impossible to talk about Alabama without acknowledging its importance. At the bottom, I drew the Montgomery bus boycott scene. This was one of the most important drawings in the section because it represents ordinary people standing up for a change. I wanted this scene to have human feeling, not just a historical event on a textbook, but a real moment involving real people. This page looks at two very different but important cultural and historical subjects. At the top, I drew Southern belles. I wanted to show the fashion side, the dresses, hats, gloves, and the elegance associated with that tradition. At the same time, I wanted the writing to explain that the idea of Southern belle it has a complex history. The dresses and manners became cultural symbols, but they also came from a complicated time period. I think when drawing history, you can appreciate beauty while still understanding the bigger story about it. On the lower half focuses on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I chose to highlight him in Alabama because Alabama was a major stage for his work. The Montgomery bus boycott, the Selma marches, and his time writing the letter from Birmingham jail all connect back to Alabama. This page is one of my favorites because it focuses on Alabama's land. The topography map shows that Alabama is not just flat land. The northern part of Alabama has the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, and the southern part transitions towards the Gulf Coast. I love showing geography because it explains why different parts of a state feel different. I included an American black bear because it's Alabama's state mammal. Wildlife drawings are always fun because animals bring personality to a page. I also included pecan pie because food tells stories. Southern cooking is often connected to family gatherings and recipes passed down over generations. At the bottom, I also chose to highlight Helen Keller, her story of perseverance and communication. She faced incredible challenges after losing her sight and hearing, but she became an author, speaker, and advocate. She represents that the idea that someone's circumstances don't define what they can accomplish. Last page is my favorite part of Alabama, the Iron Bull. I wanted this page to be a full landscape drawing because instead of just writing doing a small drawing about the Alabama and Auburn rivalry, I wanted people to feel like they were there. The lights, the stadium, the crowd, and the energy. That's why this page is much more cinematic. You have players colliding, cheerleaders performing, and mascots interacting, and the whole stadium is full and alive. The players represent two different sides of the rivalry, but also respect behind competition. Rivalries are fun because they create stories. Families debate over the dinner table, friends tease each other, and traditions are created. I included Big Al and Obby because mascots bring personality to sports. They remind everyone that even with a serious rivalry, there's still humor and fun. This this page probably took the most work because of the amount of detail. The grass, the stadium, characters, uniforms, and crowd. But I wanted it to feel like a grand finale of Alabama. So overall, my goal with Alabama was to show a state of contrast. It's a place of rockets and rural landscapes, football stadiums and quiet churches, historical struggles and moments of courage, old traditions and modern innovation. Every state has story deeper than what people just see from the outside, and Alabama is no exception. This, this section in my book is an attempt to show the heart of Dixie, not just as one idea, but as a collection of thousands of stories that all come together. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and follow me on the journey of this book coming to life.